Welcome to a new video. I'm Arthur, for the ones who don't know me. I'm 21 years old. I'm currently in Bali, and I basically live the life that I used to dream about when I was 18. You're watching this, and you're most likely anywhere from 18 to 25 years old. You're either in uni or in a job that you don't like. Whatever it is, you're living a life that you didn't choose. And one of the things that I thought would be interesting to do would be completely raw, unscripted, and just literally gonna drop the 5 things, the 5 pieces of advice, the 5 actionable steps that I took when I was 18 and that I started taking at that time that put me in the position that I'm in right now, which is I'm 21, I make over $30,000 a month. I travel the world whenever I want. I've been just this year in 5 new countries already. I'm leaving to the US in a few weeks and then to China. I completely control my time. I work as many hours as I want in a day. I get to choose who I spend my time with, and I basically live my dream day every single day of the week. So the 5 pieces of advice, 5 actionable steps that I use to get in this position, I'm gonna give them to you. But I'm not just gonna give you some bullshit pieces of advice that you'll hear on every guru's YouTube channel. I'm gonna give you the pieces of advice that truly moved the needle when it came to building my dream life. Not only making money, not only getting jacked, not only getting the relationships I wanted, but everything together with actionable steps that you could take today to use them to your advantage. Piece of advice number 1 is developing self-awareness. What does self-awareness mean? Self-awareness means you know yourself. You know your triggers, you know why you move a certain way, you know what you want, you know what you need. Most importantly, this one is a very hard one for most men, especially in their 20s. And you use that knowledge of your internal self to make your life easier on the external world. And just to explain why this is so important, one of the things that I quickly learned when I was about 18 or 19, I'm not sure what age I was when I realized it, but the external world, the way people treat you, the amount of money you make, the amount of friends you have, the status you have in your life, all of those things, they all have one thing in common, which is they are purely and simply and utterly a reflection of who you are on the inside. So how can you want to build a life of abundance in all of these, right? You want to have the girl of your dreams, you want to have the best friends in the world who are just like you want to make all the money in the world, but you don't know who you truly are. Most likely will happen is you'll either become one of these 2 categories. You won't do the work on yourself, you won't develop self-awareness, and you're just fucked. You're gonna stay broke, you're not gonna have the relationship for your dreams, and you're gonna end up in a shitty life that you didn't choose. The other side is you don't do the work on yourself, but you do get the money, you do get a lot of the things that people from the outside are gonna see as good and luxurious. But because you didn't do the work on yourself, you'll never actually be fulfilled, because most likely you'll get a lot of the things that people from the outside are telling you that you want, but because you don't truly know yourself, you don't know if that's actually what you needed or wanted to actually live the life of your dreams. And I'll give you a super clear example of my own life. When I started, I tried every single business model under the sun. None of them worked. One thing that I realized is that what I wanted at that time was just what was being put in front of me without me even realizing it. I saw all these gurus that you know, Andrew Tate, Iman Gadzhi, I don't even have any other names, because at the time, those were the 2 biggest ones. They were telling me, you need to start your own business, you need to start making money. Why? To buy watches, to fly on a private jet, to get all these girls to come with you on holiday. And in my head, that was instantly, it became the thing that I wanted, the thing I was chasing. But after 2 years of actually just traveling the world with my best friends, not worrying too much about where I was staying, making good money, and being able to choose what I did with my time, that made me realize that I just didn't know myself at that time, because I was getting fed this idea that I wanted a certain thing, but actually it was just what other people were chasing. But the second I started doing the work on myself, and I've done a full video about doing the work on yourself and going to therapy, so there's multiple ways you can do this, right? But I'd say the biggest actionables that you can take right now is hire a therapist, start reading books, and start journaling, and be open to the process of actually understanding your emotions, acknowledging them, and using them to your advantage. And once I started doing that, I quickly realized that I was going on the wrong path. And that's what completely changed everything for me, because instead of chasing $1 million in my first 3 months of doing something, I went into a skill that's called appointment setting, which made it super easy for me, because it wasn't about making $1 million in 3 months. It was about making $5K a month after 6 months or a year of learning. And it was so simple, and it gave me exactly what I wanted. I don't care about the watches. I don't wear a watch. This was 50 euros. My t-shirt was $5. I'm traveling. I'm in Bali. I love my life. I live my dream day every single day. So that's the first piece of advice, is develop self-awareness, because it will make your life externally way easier just because you've completely mastered your internal self. The second actionable is getting uncomfortable. And by this, I mean multiple things. It can be literally anything that just takes you out of where you are right now. That could be moving to a different country, changing your group of friends, changing the people you hang around. What I did, and I'll give you an example, I talked about this in a video the other day. After a year of dropping out, nothing was working. I wasn't making money. I was back at my parents' house, living on $500 a month I was making as an appointment setter at the time. And I had a very serious conversation with my mother, where she basically told me, you either leave the house or you go back to university. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it forced me to put myself in the most uncomfortable situation I could ever imagine, which was I took the last $500 I had in my bank account, bought a ticket to Thailand, and put my back against the wall, because when I got there, I had nothing to show for it. I didn't have money to pay for the hotel for more than 3 or 4 nights. I was with my friend Tommy, who barely had any money either, and we just had to make it work. And we did, because we put ourselves in an uncomfortable situation. If my mother had never forced me to get out of my comfort zone, I would have most likely stayed stuck in the exact same place I was for way longer. And God knows where I would have ended up today. So that's a super important piece of advice. The reason I'm giving it to you is because I don't want you to make the same mistake as me, which was wait for someone to force you to do it. Because most of you watching this will never have someone care enough to do that for you. So you should do it on your own. And for me, it wasn't changing my group of friends. I thought that was something I didn't want to do at that time. So moving away was by far the best choice I ever made. But if for you, for example, you love your hometown, you love where you live, but you know you need a change, just try hanging out with different people. And I swear that will make the biggest difference, because the second you get uncomfortable is the second where you're forced to make things happen. Third actionable that you should be taking ASAP is get around people that are ahead of you. Why? This ties back into the last thing. Once you start hanging out with people who are ahead of you, everything starts becoming more normal. I remember the first time I hung out with Callum, who, for the ones who watch my channel know, that's my mentor. He told me, I remember we sat down, we were having lunch, and he told me that he just got an offer to become a sales manager for an offer, and they would pay him $12,000 a month to work part-time for them. That number completely changed my perspective, and it made me realize maybe money is not as hard as I think. Maybe money is not as scarce as everyone wants to make it seem. And that's why it's so powerful. Then again, another example, I met this other guy who is now my client. So he runs an 8-figure company, which by the way, now I have equity in. But that only came because I was willing to surround myself with people that were ahead of me. And this is a super simple one. There's not much else I can say, but it ties into the next one. You need to become useful. You need to learn something that will put you in a position where you can provide value to these people that you meet. Because if you were to apply every piece of advice I gave you, but you don't have a single skill or value that you can provide to the people around you, there's no reason for them to want to be around you in the first place. And for Callum, it wasn't the case, but the second guy who owns an 8-figure company in which I have 5-figure equity as a 21-year-old, may I remind you, that person only gave me the time of day because of the skill set that I had developed. For me, that was appointment setting. And I'm not going to try and sell you on it. I'm just going to tell you truth about it, which is it's one of the simplest, most easy ways to start making good money online. When I say good money, I'm talking 3, 5, maybe 7.5K a month when you start out. Why? Because you're not starting some bullshit business. You're actually learning a skill that you can then put into existing businesses. And that's one of the biggest ways that I networked through my first few years of my career, was telling people that I was an appointment setter. And then people who owned companies and had different systems in place heard that and thought, wow, this guy might have some value to provide. So they wanted to become friends with me, and then boom, everything rolled away from there. So again, I'm not going to try and sell you on appointment setting because I've done that more than enough on this channel, but it is by far, in my opinion, the best skill that you can learn today to make money online. So if you think that you could be a good fit to do something as simple as appointment setting, again, if you're not half a retard, you can check the link in the description of this video. That will take you directly to a place where you can book a call with me and my team to see if you might be a good fit. Truth is, we don't take on anyone because we want to make sure we're actually working with people who are committed, willing to invest their time and their energy into learning the skill. And because we're placing you directly with vetted business owners from my network, again, all these business owners who I place people for come from me applying the third piece of advice into my life. And now I have a huge network of business owners who love me and who want my setters. But if that's the case, fill the link in the description. And yeah, that's the fourth piece of advice. And the fifth actionable, which might be the most important. I would even argue that it is the most important thing you can do in your life, in your 20s, if you genuinely want to see a change. Again, if you're not trying to change your life, you like the life you're living, most likely you've already clicked off this video, but if you haven't, please do. If you do want to make a change, then the number one most important thing I can tell you, just start. Stop waiting for a perfect time. We've all heard that sentence millions of times. The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, but the second best time is now. The perfect time will never come. Stop waiting for it. I can promise you, there is nothing better than just trying. Because the truth is, once you try the first time, you might fail. You might try again and fail again. But the more you try, the more you fail, the more chances you actually have of doing something that works. But while you stay stuck in your bedroom, looking at all the options on your laptop, getting all excited because you see this business opportunity, this bullshit business opportunity here, this trading guru telling you that you're gonna make millions of dollars copying his trade, you're wasting time that you could be using to actually try something. And if it doesn't work, perfect. You've learned, you've got experience, you tried. So now you have the balls to try again. And guess what? Those are the people who end up in the exact same spot that you want to be. The dream life, the dream girl, the dream friends, the amount of money that you couldn't even imagine making in a month. All those people looked at where they were and they said, fuck it, I'm gonna start now. So that's it, boys, girls, whoever's watching. Those are my 5 pieces of advice / real life actionables that you can use right now in your 20s if you want to see a change. If you want to make more money, if you want to change your relationships, if you want to change the quality of the life that you're living. If you apply these 5, I promise you that it will make a difference. And if it doesn't, DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is Arthur Setting. If you apply any of these and you didn't see a real change, DM me and I will personally teach you how to use it, how to use that piece of advice, and how to apply it in your life in a way that can genuinely make a difference, because you might just be doing it wrong. So yeah, that's my side of the bargain. Your side is you need to actually apply these things and try. I'll guarantee that they'll work, but you have to use them. So that's it. Peace.